We're back. Welcome to Season 7 of the Haunted World of CW. Let's have some fun, shall we? So this is the Season 7 Episode 1 opener review, and it's Part 2 also. I do feel that I don't want to spoil anything in this one because, quite frankly, I thought it was just hilarious and awesome. So I'm going to just basically be going in just a little bit, but feel free to watch it. Of course, I link to their channel in every description, so please check that out. So we get an update from Constance Wilmanson, who lets us know both of her middle names and the reason why. Maybe a little excessive on that one, but I definitely see where it's coming from, and that's pretty cool. Just letting us know what all is going on in the lives of everybody in the aftermath of Doppel James. For instance, we see that King James, the real KJ, is back. By the way, dude, nice to have you home. And, he's obviously going through some things. Some PTSD, obviously. He's kind of going back to his old self, but at the same time, I think now he's a little humbler than he used to be. Only in a certain sense, though. Let's face facts. This is KJ we're talking about. But it's nice to have him home. It's nice to see him okay. And quite frankly, I welcome you home, buddy. Next, we find out that Max and Jimmy, the dad and uncle of Constance and Whisper, are hanging around. They're sticking around this time. It's nice to have you back, guys. Definitely. Nice to have you, learning a few things and helping out. And we also find out that Constance's car isn't running properly because the coolant pump is missing. And everybody seems to think that Whisper is the one who took it. She vehemently denies this. I'm actually going to say the jury's out on it because while we all remember the actual story behind the Harry Potter cake incident, what happens later kind of throws everything into a little bit of a disarray, shall we say. We see some of the extent of KJ's PTSD as he's hiding in the closet trying to hide from the doppelganger who's there to eat him. And we see Jesse just having fun with him. I really can't blame you for that, Jesse, but at the same time, that was kind of a dick move. The look on Constance's face was priceless, though. It really it tied everything together. And that's going to come into another point also here in just a minute. So here's some thoughts. First off, Whisper, love the hair. Love it. That is freaking badass. And, it really, I think, is kind of neat that she's willing to experiment with hairstyles and things like that. When you get a little older, you get kind of set into a look. Me, I'm set into a look, but I can't afford to actually maintain it, so I do other things. But it's nice to know that, young people are being young. I like that. I really admire that. Let's see more of it. Let's see more Whisperness. I want to see the extreme Whisperness come back. I would kind of love that. The reason that I say that Whisper might not be the one who took the coolant pump is because of what happens in the very end of that episode. And I'm not even going to bother spoiling that one. You must see that on your own. Seriously, you must see that on your own. I'm not saying anymore. I'm not at all. Now, in the part 2 that they do in the mini episodes, and I hope they do this for every episode, because this has kind of been a cool thing. I'm kind of liking the new direction. Apparently KJ got left at home because they went to go hunt the shark, which is basically just a mutated catfish thanks to some stuff that the militia was dumping in there. And, it's not like we haven't had our fair share of secret societies in the Haunted World of CW 7 seasons. But something tells me these guys were tied into Doppel James, and there's, something else going on too. I think that the hormones that they were dumping in were also one of the reasons for the super mutants in Briar's Woods, which was another Doppel James plot. But they go hunting for the shark. Constance cuts her hand, and slicey slice, blood in the water. Next thing you know, Jaws pops out of the water. Somebody in the comment section actually said, you couldn't have just thrown like bloody meat in there? Well, they could have if they'd have thought of it. But you got to remember, this is Constance and Jesse we're talking about. Sometimes common sense isn't exactly common with those two, much to our entertainment. Constance doesn't just jump the shark, she punches it hard. Yes! Overall, I think we're starting Season 7 on a pretty strong note, although this seems to basically just be the standard opener filler for the season. Although, I like the way that 6 started a little better than this one, but, you know, I've had to scrap the Season 3 retrospective that I was doing, because I wasn't happy with it, and I'm getting ready to redo it in more this style. But I will be doing retrospectives on all those pretty soon. But so far, regardless, we're on a really strong start. And, of course, episode 2 and its number 2 have already dropped. And we're getting ready to go into number 3. I should be able to do sort of a back-to-back day-to-day review. And we'll see kind of how that plays out. But in the meantime, you know, these have been my thoughts. And I'd like to know what everybody else thought about the opener. I'd like to know what everybody thinks about these reviews, and, you know, there's a comment section down there. That's kind of how I'm finding out. Hit me up there. You can also hit me up on Twitter at twitter.com/JDPaladin. Also, there's a link to my Patreon down there. If you feel like donating, awesome. If you don't, needs must. I understand, you know, things are actually kind of hard these days. And in the meantime, this is JDPaladin telling everybody out there, stay righteous. And I'll see you in the next review of the Haunted World of CW.